Hello. You probably know me from school, Mrs. Smullen. Mrs. Stevenson asked me if I would talk to you a little bit about why I became an author. I am an artist for most of my life, and I really enjoy art. I enjoy painting, and I enjoy printmaking and photography, and I do a lot of different kinds of art. But over the years, I've also decided that I really like storytelling. I teach kids in my pre-K class how to draw pictures and tell stories, and I realized that I think I really wanted to start writing books. So the first book that I decided to write was a story from my classroom that I told many years ago, probably 16, 17 years ago, and it was about a flock of dragons, and it's called Dragon Moon. And that story stayed with me for a very long time, so I thought it was probably a good story to start with. It's a story I really like. And then the second story that I wrote is the one that you're doing right now, that you're working with, called Silkii, Dragons, a Mermaid's Tale. And Silkii is a story that I tell right in the very beginning of the year. It's the first story before we do any drawing or any writing in our class. And everybody always likes that story. So I thought, well, that's another good story I should start with. So when I decided to do Silkii, I was trying to figure out what style I wanted to use. So I kind of decided that I would use the style of Japanese woodcuts, which is a very old style of illustration. And I thought I could learn how to do it. So I used drawings that I made, and I used some photography, and I used Photoshop, and I put it all together. And I've illustrated the stories with all those things because those are all things I've learned to use over the years. I'm looking forward to writing a new story. I think the story that I'm in the middle of right now is the second story in the Dragon Moon series, and right now it's called Venetian Moon, and I have 26 chapters written. I did it mostly over the summer. It's really hard for me to write while I'm teaching in school because it takes a lot of time teaching. So I'm going to be retiring at the end of this year, and I'm very excited to have enough time to continue writing my stories. So I think then after that I would like to write some fairy tales. I have a couple of ideas about different fairy tales, and one of them is about how the first Christmas tree came to be. So I'm really looking forward to them. But those fairy tale books have very complicated illustrations, so I need a lot of time to do them. So what I'm looking forward to is, after I retire and after I write my next stories, I'd love to bring them back to Eastwoods and see what you all think about them. I've been very happy over the years since I've been writing, because I've had Mrs. Stevenson and Mrs. Lorbert, who have been so terrific at reading my books and telling me what they think about them and whether they be good and whether they make good stories for kids. So I'm really looking forward to coming back to Eastwoods, where everybody is enthusiastic and everybody has an opinion. And since you're my friends, I'm sure you'll be honest with me. So I'm looking forward to writing more books. It's going to be terrific. And thanks for listening to my story.